Hi, I'm Sam Amolo. Welcome to my shop. This is where I hang out with my friends, work on my cars. I got my '39 Chevy here. I got a 472 Cadillac big block motor with a transmission, but I also want to show you some equipment. I've got a great engine stand we need to look at. Let me tell you about this 472 cubic inch Cadillac engine. I wanted to get a big block, a real massive engine, to show you the capacity of the Easy Run stand. Now, you know, anybody can build a stand that'll hold a small block Chevy or Ford, but you can see here we got a 630-pound engine, big transmission on it. It adapts real easily. And of course, where this engine came from, when I started searching for an engine, a friend of mine had rebuilt this engine 20 years ago. Frank's been working on this car for a long time. It's never been cranked, been on an engine stand. It's his first time building an engine. Everything was done right according to the manual, with a lot of new old stock parts, because over the past 15 years, 20 years, he's been buying the parts. So it's all GM parts, everything's new in it, camshaft and everything. So you don't want to just take an engine that's dry and crank it over. You can gall the cylinder walls, you got a dry start, get a wrist pin stuck, you can destroy an engine. So here's what I do. If you got a flash rusted engine, something that's been in storage for a long time, or something like this that's never been run, here's a product from Lubegard. It's called Free Ease Rusted Cylinder Treatment. This is a great product. It's a synthetic oil blend, and it has special chemicals in it. It's got rust dispersants. It attacks the rust that flash rusted the metal. Of course, the dispersants take it off into the oil. So when you do get the engine freed up and run it, then you just change the oil and the rust is gone. Also, you know, this thing, it removes rust, lubricates the critical moving parts, boundary layer lubrication on the rings so you don't gall them. It's a great product. What I've been doing is, every day I've been putting about an ounce and a half in each spark plug hole, all the way along, and letting it sit. I did that for a couple days, then I cranked the engine through by hand. And I use it also to marinate on top of the push rods, the rocker arms, the entire valve train, everything I could get at. I put Lubegard's Free Ease on. It does a great job. By the way, it burns clean. It's not going to foul your plugs. It's a great product. Now, the next thing I did was I took an engine oil that I have, and most of you good engine builders use these. What you have here is, it's just a container, has a bladder in it. You put oil on it, you put air pressure to it, and you take this and you adapt this line into where your oil pressure sending unit would go. Open the valve, and it forces the oil through all the galleries, up the push rod tubes, it lubricates everything, in the piston pins, the whole thing, so you don't have a dry start. So that's what you want to do if you find a flash rusted engine. Don't be pouring all this other stuff you've been doing for years down there. Get yourself some Lubegard Free Ease. Now, you've got it oiled. The next thing you do is, after it's set, I want to spin it, okay, to blow out anything that's in the cylinders. So I'm going to turn the key on to master power. I got the spark plugs out. I don't have any of my leads hooked up because I don't want any ignition, and I'm just going to crank it. You can hear it. Now, I've got a mechanical oil pressure gauge hooked up, so before we start it, we want to see cranking oil pressure. That's great. All right, we got our 472 coming along pretty well. We're getting ready to start it. Got to add some coolant. Okay, got a big aluminum radiator. And you know, in classic cars, hot rods, any restorations you do, engines are going to sit for a while. The car is going to sit. Put something in your coolant to help it out. This is coolant. It's from Lubegard. This is their Supreme Coolant Treatment. What this does is it neutralizes the pH and it stops the electrolysis. And if you don't think about aluminum and water making electricity, put a piece of aluminum foil in your teeth if you got fillings, and you'll know what happens. It'll give you a jolt. That's electricity. It's what heats up the aluminum. So now all I need to do is finish up a couple of things. Let me show you that we also have a fuel pump switch. I'm not using an electric fuel pump, but I have a throttle kicker solenoid. I wired it to that switch, and of course, that pops up right there. You can see it work. You can hear it click. What that is an anti-diesel solenoid that was on this Cadillac engine originally, holds you at the idle speed. When you shut the ignition off, that would drop, close the throttle plates, and the thing wouldn't run on after you shut off the key. It was real critical back then. All I need to do now is put some coolant in it. And I'm getting pretty excited and pretty pumped up. Playing with this stand is great. Now we've got the engine almost all set to go. You don't want to try to start it without oil in it. This is from Lubegard. It's called their Biotech Engine Treatment. And what you do is, it's a protectant. You add it to your oil. It improves the wear index of your oil a tremendous amount. So this is going to protect that delicate flat tappet camshaft, particularly during the break-in stage. Lubegard's Biotech Engine Protectant. This is a great product. Put in the oil. It'll really help to protect that camshaft. and all the engine parts, it really improves the wear characteristics. So it also helps to drop the engine operating temperature of the oil because it makes it a better heat transfer fluid. And all of Lubegard's products are endorsed by original equipment manufacturers. They're the only ones that can say that. So make sure you put something good in your oil to protect that flat tappet camshaft. Hooking up the Easy Run stand to make it fire. One wire is Coil Power. This is going to go from the switch wire going to the coil, or the plus side. The Cadillac had a resistor wire, so I mounted a ceramic resistor on here for this coil. The other wire comes from the panel. That's your tack feed. Now, everything's checked. I'm ready to fire it up. What I'm going to do is turn on the master power switch. I'm going to crank it before I turn on coil power and make sure I get oil pressure again. There we go. Got good cranking vacuum, got good oil pressure, a little bit of fuel. Now the moment in truth. Hit the switch, and here we go. Now I want to run this thing for 5 minutes at 1800 RPM steady, break in the cam, check if oil leaks, water leaks, then I can check the timing, dial in the carburetor. This thing will be ready to go in the car. You know, I've had a blast doing this, and I've accomplished a lot. And the best part about the Easy Run engine stand, it's made in America by Americans. Father and son team, Al and Andy, and when you pick up the phone and call for tech support, that's who you're talking to. They know every nut and bolt. They build and design these things right in the United States. That means a lot to me. And, you know, I have a lot of fun with this thing. What I do in my shop, besides putting guys' engines on and running them, or engines I build myself, sometimes I do technical training here. We set an engine up, we'll bug it, let guys try to figure out what's going on. This is a great product for clubs, for vocational schools, for teaching, for doing stuff at a swap meet or a car show where you want to sell an engine for raffles. Easy Run engine stands a great investment. I appreciate you watching.